Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is BestInSlot, and tonight we're going to take a look at the Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom trailer that aired during the Super Bowl last night. Now, if you haven't seen the trailer, of course, there's going to be loads of spoilers here, so go check it out. I have uploaded it right here on the channel, but obviously it's all over the internet. It's on Universal's website. Many places if you want to go check it out for yourselves. I have managed to find a really high quality version of it that wasn't like just uploaded onto YouTube. So I've got a lot of really high quality screenshots. So even if, you know, you've seen this all before, it might be worth just having like a little scan through to see some of this stuff in higher quality. Well, until YouTube butchers it. Anyways, let's get going. So the start of the trailer opens up like this. Now clearly what they're doing and what we kind of expected with J.A. Bayona as a director well known for his horror films, is a much more horror tone to the film. Whilst this first third of the film still seems to be going in a very Jurassic World, bombastic action kind of direction with the volcano and such, the second half, or the final third, is very much a horror film, and it looks awesome. So we start off with a girl in bed. This is Maisie, I think her name is. I'm not really 100% sure. And she's clearly related to Lockwood in some way. She is living in the manor, and the Indoraptor is stalking around it. We see, you know, she's all spooked. And then we get some really cool shots. So we see the Indoraptors, like the first look at its spookiness, sort of stealing past their horse. And then we get a shot of the foot. We're going to get some really cool details of the Indoraptor. You can see how it's inspired by the classic Jurassic Park raptors. And in the trailer, this claw here does click down just like the raptors, particularly in Jurassic Park 3 or in, say, the kitchen scene in Jurassic Park 1. It's very cool. But then we get possibly my favourite shot in the entire trailer already. This one. I love this shot. This whole little section absolutely emphasised just how much they're going for that horror feel. The really interesting thing about this is the arm. So when you watch it in the trailer, this arm as it comes out, there's something very human about it. Now the Indominus Rex had similar looking arms, but this one is clearly even longer. It's kind of looks like it could easily grasp and hold and open doors and blah blah blah, like we know the raptors could. There's something very alien about it, very creepy about it. It's not really dinosaur-esque in a lot of ways, but it's an alien-based. I think people need to treat this as a movie monster rather than a dinosaur. We already kind of saw that with the Indominus Rex. I think people just need to lean into it, and clearly they have in the film, because this scene was just a total alien invasion kind of film. You replace this with like a green or a grey round-headed dude stretching his arm across the bed to steal a little girl away in the middle of the night, and this would not be surprising in any alien invasion film. We actually come back to this very same scene later on, so we'll point that out. Anyways, then we get a really cool close-up. I want to thank... I've completely forgotten his name, and I'm so sorry. Oh, somebody mentioned this to me on Twitter. I'll remind you in the comments. But this scene is very similar to... well, what we've seen in a lot of alien films. We always get this sort of slow zoom in or cut to the alien's head, the xenomorph's head, with the teeth sort of bared and stuff like that. It was very similar. It's a very cool scene. It's nice to get this close up of the teeth. You can see just how jagged they are and messed up. You know, it's not this smooth, clean, well-made dinosaur. It's a monster, basically. And then that all changes, and we move on. So we get a little glimpse of some stuff we've seen before. We see Blue and Owen again. The volcano explodes, and then we get another new shot. That, to me, is definitely the baryonyx. I don't see what else that could possibly be. Tell you what, guys, let's do some CSI stuff. This is what they do in CSI. Yeah, that's the baryonyx. It's got the snout. It's clearly not the Indoraptor, as we'll see later on for sure. It could be that other theropod that we see in the charging scene, in the stampede scene, but to me that is definitely the baryonyx. In what is a fairly ridiculous looking scene, as the baryonyx gets carried away by Chinook, but it kind of makes sense. The baryonyx is captured, and these two are the ones who were getting chased by the baryonyx earlier, so obviously they're the ones watching it go away. It seems that during the first third of the film or so, Owen and Claire are actually separated quite a lot. Moving on, we go back to our Brachiosaurus. Oh, absolutely adore it. There's some speech over the top of this, which I've got there. So Claire, as all this is going on, Claire says, "Do you remember the first time you saw a dinosaur? You don't really believe it. It's like a miracle." And then the Brachiosaurus walks in front of the sun rays, and it's clearly meant to be held up as like a godly creature, basically. It's very obvious symbolism. I love this little scene. I hope there's a little bit more of this kind of thing in the film than we've seen in the trailers. There isn't much of this in the trailers. There is pretty much just this scene. I really like, as those of you who know me, scenes that sort of celebrate the majesty and beauty of the dinosaurs, and I feel like films need that in order to counteract the screaming and the running, as Ian Malcolm would say. The first film was very good at this, particularly that opening Brachiosaurus scene was much longer. There's a scene with the other Brachiosauruses later on in the film. The other films kind of dabbled with it, but not really, so hopefully we get a little bit more of that. Anyways, it's all sort of happy, optimistic music during this little bit, and then we cut to D27, which is tracking a dinosaur. We get some really cool shots here. So Claire and I know his name. I've told you guys his name, but I've forgotten his name. Claire and this dude, assumedly a part of the Dinosaur Protection Group. By the way, the Dinosaur Protection Group website has been massively updated, so do check that out. Claire and this dude are, obviously, they've been stranded alone. They're in some tunnel system somewhere on the island, by the looks of it. I'd assume it's on the island. It's definitely on the island. And this is one of my favourite shots in the trailer. This one right here. Look at that. That's beautiful. The baryonyx is stalking them down the tunnels. There's this little drip of magma, and it sort of flares up underneath it, and it just gives it... That is such a cool shot. I absolutely adore it. And again, very, very horror feel when it's shown in the film. And then, of course, the baryonyx pops out. Lava magma, absolutely bloody everywhere. Things kind of go to hell. The kid, can't remember his name, does a scream, which even Claire in the trailer kind of looks at him like, really? Really? What are you doing? Because the scream is... It's a little bit much, guys. I'm not going to pretend otherwise. We get another shot of Blue. Owen is telling her at this point, come with me, Blue. You know you can't stay here on the island. It's not safe. You know things are going to go badly. Like, clearly she's sort of established a home for herself on the island. And doesn't want to just leave that. She's been stranded here for a while now on her own, just kind of living her life, maybe on her own, we don't know for sure. But she's been stranded here for a while. It's very hard to convince her to leave. And another shot we get some more gyrosphere stuff as it goes off the edge. This time we get a brief glimpse of Owen looking in. It's a beautiful romantic moment. And he's going to save Claire somehow. Or maybe the submarine pops in here. Maybe this is where the submarine pops in and kind of breaks through the gyrosphere or something like that. Who really knows? We don't really get another good glimpse of any of that stuff. Then we move on. We get this nice shot. There's so many beautiful shots in the trailer. I've got to say, I much prefer this trailer to the first one. I will say, as a trailer, I don't think it flew? I don't think it had a particularly good flow. It felt like it went from happy to sad, to happy to sad, to happy to sad, in like very jarring transitions. It didn't sort of naturally flow. I think they could have spent more time with the nice stuff at the start and then build up more and more and more to the creepy stuff and the action stuff, rather than cutting and changing between the two, which is kind of what happened. Anyways, we got a shot of some blood. Blue has been injured somehow. The fact that blood is being taken makes me think it's a disease, but clearly she's operating on a wound. Clearly Blue no, it's obviously not a disease. Clearly Blue gets injured somehow during the escape from Jurassic World. This girl on the right is, according to the Dinosaur Protection Group, she is a paleo vet, which sounds unusual, but you got to think at this point in time, dinosaurs are a well-established factor in the world. Basically, dinosaurs exist. Jobs around dinosaurs are naturally going to pop up. So something like a paleo vet would be a very, very obvious role for someone to go into. And it makes sense that she's a bit younger because, if you're a 40-year-old vet, you're not suddenly going to start doing dinosaurs instead of puppies. But if you're an 18-year-old and you're choosing your degree, maybe you'd see paleo vet and you would kill all your relatives in order to get on such a degree program. Well, I know, I would. Anyway. Okay. So clearly Blue is injured. We can't really say much about that. The escape from the island itself is very dramatic. We're going to get some glimpses of that later on. We don't actually see Blue at any point during it, so I'm not sure how she gets off, but that might actually play a factor in later on. I'm just thinking, maybe Blue's injured a leg or she's got a cut somewhere. She's clearly got enough cut to warrant stitches or a little bit of surgery. It's going to come up a little later on. We'll reference back to that. And there she is again, looking lovely. Nice animatronic. This dude has been talking throughout this whole... Well, no, he's been talking throughout this whole thing. I'll bring up his quotes in a second. He's clearly part of the new company. He's either the head or he's a VP, probably, to whatever company Lockwood is running. Now, we don't know what that's called. It could be Biosyn. It could be a Masrani shoot-off. It could be a new version of InGen. We don't know what the company's actually called. But either way, Lockwood, as in Lockwood Manor, is running this new company. And this dude's talking about it. And we get a lot of stuff about... Oh, no, let me cut to this. There's Claire just looking So happy. They've clearly tried to make an effort to make Claire a little bit more of a badass in this film. There was a lot of criticism of Claire's character in the first film, particularly around the high heels. Which, well, whatever, I don't want to get into that, but whatever. But clearly they tried to make a little bit of a badass. Now, this scene doesn't say badass, but, you know, at the time she is kind of jumping this jeep off the edge of the pier, assumedly to try to land on the boat as it's leaving. We've seen it in the other trailer, so I haven't brought it up, but Owen and the kid running away from Jurassic World, it's exploding, all the oil barrels are exploding, stuff like that. Clearly they are not going to have a nice, easy escape from the island. It's all gone to hell. You can see all the fire and the smoke in the background. The volcanic eruption is in full force. So their escape is going to be very, very dramatic. I wonder, given this is a big old truck, maybe there's a dinosaur in the back of it, maybe Blue is in the back of it, and it was up to Claire to rescue Blue, and maybe that's part of what brings Owen and Claire back together. Don't really know. Anyways, we get a really cool shot here. Obviously, we saw this, the T-Rex kind of sedated or sleeping in this transport vehicle, and Owen goes to have a look, and he's checking her out, and suddenly she wakes up, and she tries to bite his head off. That's just a fun little shot. And then we go back to the Indoraptor very briefly. Just looks awesome, and there's something so terrifying about it. Seriously, just taking it from Indominus down to Indoraptor makes all the difference in the world for me. And then we get a good shot of Toby Jones, who I really like, by the way. Toby Jones is awesome. That dude on the bottom right is clearly the same... Whoopsie daisy. Clearly the same dude as we saw a little bit earlier. So I think he's clearly involved in Lockwood, but not necessarily super high up. Toby Jones is an auctioneer here. And we can see, this is one of the things that was kind of hard to pick up just casually watching the trailer, that he is doing bidding for the Indoraptor. Bidding pre-approval required, online bidding available. So they're running an auction for the Indoraptor. Now, they're not only running it for the Indoraptor, they're also running it for the other dinosaurs from the island. So that's interesting, because we were very much off the belief that maybe the Dinosaur Protection Group was the one responsible for getting all these dinosaurs off the island. They're going to save all the dinosaurs and then maybe put them in a reserve, find a way to protect them, and obviously other people were going to go for them and try to steal them away or something like that. But this clearly suggests that those dinosaurs have their ownership somehow transferred to this company instead. I don't know who technically owned the dinosaurs. It must be Masrani. That's why I think there's probably a Masrani connection in there somewhere. Probably Hoskins connection in there somewhere. We'll get all into that in a second. But the fact that they're bidding off not just the Indoraptor, but some other stuff, as we'll see in all likelihood, this looks to me just like a big old dinosaur auction, you know? It's interesting that maybe the Dinosaur Protection Group is a front for something else. Maybe there is two competing companies on the island. Dinosaur Protection Group, much lower scale, you know, only rescuing a few dinosaurs, and then the other guys come in with these big tankers and trucks and stuff. We did see a military sort of vehicle kind of thing going on. Go away, Razor signups. We did see a big military vehicle convoy at some point in the other trailer, you know, the one that rolls past the skeleton. Maybe that wasn't the Dinosaur Protection Group. Was it instead there to take the dinosaurs for themselves? Or maybe the Dinosaur Protection Group thinks the two companies are working together, and then there's a little bit of betrayal. Anyways, during all this is a quote. Jurassic World, the island. All of that is in the past. I want to show you the future. And that's where that kind of goes over the top of this scene, and then it cuts to this. This is the Indoraptor getting wheeled into a hall. There's a woman here. Very exciting. And I see all these people. This woman is flabbergasted, to say the least. So is this dude. I'm going to highlight the people. This dude just can't believe his bloody eyes. This dude doesn't seem to really care that much. And this dude's in a world of his own. This is fun. Anyways, right, so all these people, these to me are probably weapon buyers. We've seen this kind of thing before. Iron Man films, for example. You know, you get very high-profile businessmen, businesswomen who are in the business of dealing weapons. Not necessarily dealing weapons like selling them to Iraq or something, but, you know, you want to trademark a weapon and then sell it to the military and stuff like that. So the Indoraptor is getting wheeled out amongst all these people, and it is probably a, look at this weapon, buy this weapon, go sell it on, you know, we'll give you the genetic code as a trademark, blah, 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 blah. The Indoraptor has been designed as a weapon. The dinosaurs as weapons kind of theme was very prominent in Jurassic World, and was always going to be, well, it wasn't very prominent, but there was an undercurrent of it, you know, with the whole Hoskins situation. Clearly it is going to be more of a theme in the follow-up. So Claire, Owen, and we're going to call her Maisie, They've broken in, they're watching this. To me, this looks like it could be taking place in Lockwood Manor, because this background is quite Lockwood Manor-esque, and how this, this general design is quite Lockwood Manor-y. And she's staring at it, and they ask, where did this even come from? And he goes, they made it. So clearly, the people at Lockwood have actually made the Indoraptor. I don't think the Indoraptor was ever on the island at any point. I think it was designed, maybe there's a lab in Lockwood, maybe there's a lab connected to it somehow, or just another one hidden in the country where they've been building dinosaurs separately. That could get into a whole range of issues about that. And then we go to this. So this is obviously the scene from early on in the film. This is the scene we see Maisie in bed all spooked. Owen pops up with a rifle. He's all ready to take on the Indoraptor. We get a really good look at the Indoraptor itself. Kind of just look at the detail, guys. I love these screenshots. Owen is spooked as balls, to say the least. Maisie, spooked as balls. She's clearly put some clothes on at this point, so maybe it's not directly connected to that scene. Maybe they just come back to her bedroom. But maybe maybe Owen went in to help her, get out, because he knows the Indoraptor's around. He's like, get your clothes on, let's get going. It's very dangerous. Yeah, let's go with that. And it's all about to go terribly wrong. Indoraptor's about to murder Maisie and stuff, and Blue pops in to save the day. Maybe shouldn't have been spoiled in the trailer, I think, possibly. And the trailers do kind of have a habit of giving away maybe a little bit too much, as some people have said. But, as long as there's lots left to see, then who really cares? It's fine. Anyway, Blue pops in to save the day, and we get a really cool shot, very, very briefly, but this is our best look ever at the Indoraptor, like the full body of the Indoraptor. Now, there's a bedsheet in the way on the right, there's a leg, look at this leg, terrible leg, but we get to see these hairs sort of on the back of its head, we get to see this sort of yellow streak careening down its body, we get to see its size relative to Blue, we get so much just from this little image about the formation of the Indoraptor itself. It's interesting to note that this image right here is very similar to the graphic image from the binder that I posted a video about in that Mosasaurus attacks a helicopter video. I posted a binder that showed Blue attacking the Indoraptor at Lockwood Manor, and it's very similar to this. Claire, again, just being a badass. Assumingly she's shooting the Indoraptor, we don't really know. T-Rex pops up. Now, I suggested that there's a scene we saw very, very early on in the production of Jurassic World, Fallen Kingdom. The very first shot we got of filmed footage where some dude in a yellow coat was climbing up a ladder onto a helicopter, and the other day I suggested that could be the Mosasaurus scene. Clearly it wasn't. Clearly it was this scene. It's nighttime, it's raining, it's a classic Tyrannosaurus Rex scene. Now, given that this looks to be, I'm gonna bring this up because I've only just spotted this actually. That to me looks like there's actually two people there. I don't know if zooming in is going to help here. I don't think it does. But this little thing here, I think, is either a dinosaur or a person. It's definitely not just one person. You can kind of see it if you just look there. You can kind of see how there's another... You can see the main body of someone on the left here, right? And then there's something else that kind of juts out. I don't think it looks like it's part of them. So anyways, this is clearly this scene instead. Don't know how Rexy's involved. Clearly they're getting away from Lockwood Manor, if you had to guess. Maybe Rexy is going to come in to fight the Indoraptor at the end. Who knows? The gun on the helicopter is actually still shooting at this point, but I don't believe it's shooting at Rexy. And I'd be very surprised if they let it shoot at Rexy. That would be mean. It's clear shot. I think shooting sort of in that direction. So maybe the Indoraptor is around... or just died out. God only knows, really. Anyways, moving on. So this is why I think the dinosaur auction is a little bit more full. So this is potentially a Lockwood Manor again. Maybe there's a whole holding pen. Maybe Lockwood Manor, knowing what they were moving into, kind of designed this whole dinosaur area as part of the manor. Maybe it's another building entirely. Don't really know for sure. Maybe they just go from this building, the auction site sort of thing, to Lockwood Manor. That wouldn't be that surprising at all either. But all the dinosaurs have broken out at this point. We get Gallimimus, we get a Triceratops, Ankylosaurus, stuff like that. You can see one of those sort of holding pens that we saw from the boat scene in the other trailers, and also from very, very many of the leaked images, showing a Dilophosaurus and things like this. The T-Rex was in a similar sort of cage. This dude just gets annihilated by a rampaging Triceratops. So they've all broken out. Now I'm wondering if it's like Jurassic World, The Lost World, where the people are letting the dinosaurs out in order to sort of create havoc and give them a better chance. Maybe the Indoraptor lets them out. We've seen those big claws. They could definitely unlock a couple of locks. Maybe the Indoraptor is that intelligent. We don't really know. We're getting a little shot here. Not sure what it is. I think it's actually the baryonyx. This only pops up very briefly, but given the lighting, it's very orange. Yeah, I think this is definitely the baryonyx. I think this is Claire or other dude, and they're sort of climbing up through a tunnel, up a ladder, away from the baryonyx. We look down, we see the baryonyx sort of jump up and try to sort of grab at them just as they escape. It's fairly terrifying looking, I want to say. That's a detailed ass mouth right there. So we get a nice little shot of the baryonyx there. I don't know why they've cut to something, if I'm right, from so much earlier in the film, but it definitely doesn't look like Lockwood Manor. The stone floor everywhere, this sort of stone, very industrial sort of tunnel. It doesn't look like a manor. It looks like the same area Claire and the kid were in earlier on. Get a little glimpse of this scene. The Indoraptor about to eat this dude. We don't know who this dude is, but he's dead anyway, probably, right? Interestingly, Jurassic Outpost Chris Pugh noted that this has actually been changed a little bit from the initial trailer got. We have actually seen this image before, but there were some wounds on the Indoraptor. They've been cleaned up, and the teeth used to be part of the... This is obviously an animatronic, but the teeth used to be part of the animatronic and now have been sort of CGI'd in a little bit differently. Moving on, Maisie in the rain. Clearly the finale of this film is going to take out... Let's try that again in English. Clearly the finale of the film is going to take place on the outside of Lockwood Manor, perhaps on the roof, perhaps in the garden, perhaps they've got a helipad, perhaps they've got a dock. We don't really know. But they're going to be outside, they're going to be in the rain, they're going to be nighttime. Rexy's going to be there, they're going to get carried away by a helicopter. That is the finale of the film. How it all connects, we don't know, but that is definitely how the film's going to end. This dude just gets slammed by a pteranodon just for fun, I guess, really. And only 3 little shots left, guys. So we turn to Owen. He's like, "Whoa, you need to get us out of here." This is Owen, Claire, and again, I'm not sure this is Lockwood. I'm gonna change sort of what I was saying before. This to me doesn't look like Lockwood either. I imagine this is one of 2 things for me. It's either a lab building connected to Lockwood Manor, sort of underneath, hidden underground, or it's the auctioneer site, and the auction site would be a big, imposing building because it has to hold dinosaurs in it. These dudes are mercenaries working for whatever that company is, and the pteranodon sort of smacks them around. This looks to me to be in the same building. This dude shows up, he's the one pointing the gun at them, some weird bent shotgun looking thing. Not a happy looking dude, it's got to be said, but again, the background looks very much like an industrial kind of thing. Again, I think it's either connected to Lockwood, sort of underground, or it's a separate building entirely. And the final shot of the trailer, the dude gets annihilated by the Indoraptor. Once again, we can see that sort of yellow streak there going down the body. That's our best look at the full body of the Indoraptor, but we lose a bit because it is moving so fast at the time. And that's about it. I really like the trailer. I think most people seem to like it. I've seen a few dissenting opinions out there on the internet, but of course that's always going to be the case no matter what. I think it was much better than the first. I do think the flow could have used some work. I don't know why. I think the first trailer suffered from the exact same problem in that it seems to be just kind of a collection of connected or disconnected bits. It's like, hey, this is a cool bit, and hey, this is a cool bit, and hey, this is a cool bit, and that's it, and there's very little flow from one thing to another. I don't think it's an exceptionally well-made trailer, but I think the stuff they showed was very cool, and they very much emphasized that J.A. Bayona horror style. We're going to get a lot of really cool horror scenes, perhaps the most we've had since The Lost World at the very least, which probably had the most in any film. People do think back to the original Jurassic Park for the horror, primarily because of the kitchen raptor scene. But I would say, if any film in the franchise went hard on the horror aspect, I would say it's The Lost World, personally, more than any of the others. But hey, and half The Lost World took place at night time. It was naturally going to have that kind of feel. But yeah, I'm really excited. I think the film's got a lot of promise. I think the Indoraptor is awesome. I think it's the right size. I think it's going to be creepy as balls. I'm very excited to see what the connection is between these different locations at the end of the film and the auctioneer and Toby Jones and all the others. We see him in an elevator at some point in another leaked trailer thing, sort of careening downwards. The elevator's clearly broken. I don't really know what that's all about. But the Indoraptor is going to be a menace. And the kid maybe super annoying. We don't know yet. She doesn't look that annoying, but you can never really tell. Most of the kids are annoying, but hopefully they manage it this time. That's about it. Thank you so much for joining me, ladies and gentlemen. Feel free to leave your comments down below. Are you excited? Is there anything you saw in the trailer that maybe I didn't pick up on? Let me know down below. And I'll see you lovely folks in the next episode. Cheers, much love, as always. Bye-bye. Hey guys, if you enjoyed this video, please consider smashing that like button down below. It really helps me out. And also hitting the subscribe button if you want to be kept up to date with brand new videos about dinosaurs, animals, aliens, and everything else we do here on the BestInSlot channel. All of you who have subscribed so far, that's awesome. Make sure you hit that little bell icon. I'll highlight now, otherwise you may actually miss out on the content anyway because YouTube is silly. Thank you guys so much. Much love.